Good evening. You're watching News 14 Carolina. I'm Johnell Johnson.
The people in this community aren't concerned so much with the building.
If taken properly, these little pills are perfectly fine. But the FDA wants to ensure your safety.
What we do know is that a black male was shot here at Club Millennium. This is the reason for the crowd you see behind me.
It has all sorts of things like a flashlight as well as a radio.
Legend came out today that it's not just about having fun.
Maybe I can give Steve Smith a run for his money. National Weather Service has issued a high wind advisory for much of our viewing area until 1 a.m.
Then the original company ups the stakes in order to call the opponent's bluff. Now the North Carolina Society is the oldest state society in Washington, D.C.
And some of them aren't quite so good, like myself.
Then what Yen is doing is taking a picture of my part with an ultrasound.
Now the couple running the mom and pop shop are fighting for their lives. National Adoption Day has been celebrated across the country since 2000.
Saturday, the lines wrapped around the airport all the way downstairs. So a lot of times they will turn a bridge into a bed. If you look and listen beyond the traffic, you can hear the buzz of what recently happened in this normally quiet community.
So the little guys started running.
They started firing.
All I hate to see the gunman man shot that guy.
Charlotte-Mecklenburg police say Officer David Jester shot and killed 21-year-old Aaron Winchester Tuesday afternoon. And while neighbors are shocked, this is not the first officer-involved shooting in Charlotte this month. In fact, there have been 6 since November of last year.
You've got a certain amount of them happen in a short time frame, as you said, in the past 6 months, but you really can't say whether it's high or not. In regards to recent history in Charlotte, you can draw that conclusion.
16-year-old Laquan Brown was shot and killed by an officer in November. Then in February, officers returned fire on a suspected MS-13 gang member. This man was shot and killed in March after allegedly trying to rob a Dollar Tree store. Jason Chappelle was taken to the hospital when police shot him while he was sitting in a car that was reported as a suspicious vehicle. And Brian Howie was also in his car when he was shot by police, who said they saw him passing drugs to a passenger.
It happened right here.
And Tuesday was the latest. Monday's shooting left neighbors with more questions than answers, like why did the officer shoot so many times? Here you can see where the officer shot and missed.
You can do the what ifs, all day long, all week long, but the officer doesn't have that time.
Winchester's mother says that is not a good enough answer.
He didn't do anything to anyone. He didn't shoot anyone. He didn't rob anyone. He just ran.
CMPD officer Robert Fay says if officers pull out their gun, most likely it is warranted. But neighbors still worry.
You ought to talk to people and see what they done. Then it's sitting on that boy while I was sitting down here.
In Charlotte, Johnell Johnson, News 14 Carolina.
I suffer with horrible flashbacks and nightmares.
This molestation victim says the nightmare he's endured for more than 10 years is finally coming to an end.
But I stand here today to make a liar out of you. Today I take back my life.
He says former Charlotte priest Robert Yergel stole his youth when Yergel molested him over a 2-year period starting in 1998. According to this court document, the victim was just 14 years old at the time. Police arrested Yergel in April of 2008 after the victim reported the abuse. At the time, Yergel was serving as a priest in New Jersey. He returned to Charlotte to face the charges of indecent liberties with a child and statutory rape, but pleaded guilty Monday to 1 count of second-degree sexual offense. Now, Yergel's freedom will be taken away for the next 7.5 to 10 years. The assistant district attorney says the two met at St. Matthew's Catholic Church in Ballantyne. Yergel was a priest while the victim was an altar boy, but this is where the molestation actually happened, here in North Charlotte in the rectory of Our Lady of Consolation Catholic Church. Assistant District Attorney Kelly Miller says a taped phone call helped to put Yergel behind bars.
He even mentioned that he knew it was legally wrong. He mentioned in the phone call he wishes he could take it back.
In court Monday, Yergel did not speak, but while Yergel remained silent, his victim and the victim's mother spoke out in an effort to help potential victims.
Step forward and stop all sexual predators.
David Haynes with the Diocese of Charlotte also wants potential victims to come forward.
As a church, it's very painful for us to have a situation like this, but we want some good to come out of it.
The weather is
hot. Got like a fan?
At the 10th annual Taste of Charlotte, visitors to the Uptown event got more than just a taste of food.
Love beautiful on a hot day like today, folks.
But also a taste of some extremely hot weather.
We have EMT up here, but we want to keep everybody cool. We have plenty of beverages.
Because of the heat, coordinators for the event have made provisions to help people have a good time without overheating.
We got a couple mist tents there so people can cool off in those. We also have a sponsor who has air conditioning units so you can cool off there. We have lots of ice cream vendors, so that's always fun. Plus, there's a lot of shaded areas in Uptown with all the trees.
It's definitely hot out here, and you have to remember to stay cool. Now, while the organization has several things to keep you cool while you're here in the Taste of Charlotte, something as simple as just walking into the shade can go a long way to help keep you cool.
But people also came prepared with their own fans and water spritzers. And if you didn't have something to beat the heat,
Shake it and drape it.
you could buy it, like this towel that stays cool for up to 3 hours.
We did a lot of praying to get some hot weather for this weekend, so we're well prepared.
Their prayers were answered, and with places like this missing tent, visitors have a ray of hope that they can take on the heat for some good food.
Trying to keep my hair pulled back and drink lots of water. Eat Dippin' Dots.
Good evening. You're watching News 14 Carolina. I'm Johnell Johnson. This is the Charlotte area's best source for up-to-the-minute weather, news, and sports. Now here's a look at our top stories. The brutal murders of a convenience store clerk and a customer last month remains fresh on many Statesville residents' minds. Today, people joined together to help the clerk, who was a young mother of 3. Ahead, how friends and strangers alike are reaching out to help a family through the unbearable tragedy. And a fire completely destroys a Mint Hill home this morning. Now a family of 12 is left without a place to live. Up next, how they're doing and what neighbors are doing to help them through this difficult time. And adopted people who want to find their birth families are getting some help from the government. A new law that went into effect on January 1st may make it easier. Those stories and more are coming up, but first, here's a check of your weather on the One's forecast. A Statesville family who lost a loved one in a December shooting is getting some neighborly help. 28-year-old Jennifer Vincic and 52-year-old Jeffrey Peck were gunned down last month during a convenience store robbery. Vincic left behind 3 young children and a fiance. But News 14 Carolina reporter David Canotto shows us the family has plenty of people to lean on. Fundraiser organizers say they hope to raise at least $20,000. They plan to coordinate another event in the near future. An early morning fire destroys a Mint Hill home and leaves a family of 12 without a place to call their own. Mint Hill firefighters tell us the fire broke out around 8 this morning. In just minutes, the fire engulfed the entire house. Chris and Lynette Battle and their 10 children were just waking up when the fire broke out. Everyone made it out of the house safely. And while the fire is still under investigation, Chris and Lynette believe an unattended candle may have played a factor. The Battles moved to Mint Hill from Maryland 2 months ago. They say the entire neighborhood is rallying for the family. One neighbor even brought the family to his house until they were able to make arrangements. There's still much more to come here on News 14 Carolina. Coming up after the break, about a dozen people braved chilly morning temperatures to hike for a good cause. Up next, we'll tell you about the first ever hike for habitat. And we'll also get another check of your weather on the One's forecast. Don't go away. News 14 Carolina, we'll be right back. Well, Heather, actually, police and the bus just left a few moments ago. They have officially cleared the scene, but earlier today, the bus was pretty much in the middle of traffic, and police officers were right here trying to investigate, figuring out exactly what happened. Take a look at some video that we shot earlier this afternoon. And what we know is that it happened around 4 p.m. The bus driver was traveling west on Remount Road, and the girl was headed north on Tryon Street. She was in the crosswalk when she was hit by the school bus. Police say right now it appears to be just a tragic accident. Now, at the time of the accident, the tractor trailer was blocking the view of both the girl and the bus driver. So right now there are no charges pending. We spoke to police, and here's what they had to say. Now, at the time of the accident, there were about 6 children on that school bus. We do not know where that bus was coming from, but those children have since been taken home. Live in South Charlotte, Johnell Johnson, News 14 Carolina.